Hello fellow leggers, thank you for joining us once again. We are in the busy, bustling heart of London where we are going to the Trafalgar Studios.
And we are seeing the modern masterpiece, Equus by Peter Shaffer.
So as usual leggers, stick around to find out our thoughts.
How many stars and whether it's break a leg or leg it.
Equus, have you seen this before?
Never, but like I say, I hear so much about it being one of these classic modern pieces that you've got to see once in your life. So as a result, I'm sort of excited to actually finally get in and see it.
Add it to the repertoire.
Yeah, to say I can tick that off the list now and I've seen Equus. It's had so many productions. Now the story is inspired by a true account of a 17-year-old boy who has a pathological obsession with horses, and then it's dramatised to a visit with a psychiatrist, which leads to the psychiatrist's own self-doubts becoming uncovered as he tries to understand the actions of the disturbed child.
Okay, sounds deep, sounds heavy.
It does. Now, the original production premiered at the National Theatre in 1973, but it's received numerous revivals since then, notably on Broadway, where Anthony Hopkins, Leonard Nimoy, and Anthony Perkins have all played the psychiatrist role.
Wow, what? I'd love to have seen those.
I know, me too. In 1977, it was a film adaptation where Richard Burton took it on.
Okay,
I mean,
don't know
talk
it.
about massive, names, though.
Any good? Comment below, I'd like to know.
Yeah, have you seen the film? Because I don't watch a lot of films. Should I catch this one? I don't know.
Who knows?
Here in the West End, it was last seen in 2007 and starred Daniel Radcliffe as the boy, Alan. And it caused some controversy as the character is required in the text to appear naked on stage. Now, the production starring Radcliffe also transferred to Broadway.
Okay.
This production itself premiered at the Theatre Royal Stratford East, and due to having fantastic notices and being critically acclaimed, it's finally transferred to the West End for a limited run.
Way, which is why we're here.
Yes, now in the cast playing the psychiatrist is Zubin Varla. Now Zubin was well known for playing Judas in the 1996 Jesus Christ Superstar, but also being Olivier nominated this year for playing Bruce Bechtel in Fun Home.
Wow.
Which we saw at the Young Vic. Check out our review for
When
that.
was that? You say this year? Was that this year or last year's?
Was it this year? I
Fun
think it was
Home.
this year.
I'm sure
Because
Fun
we
Home
saw
was
it
before
last
then.
year, so it
Was
must have been
it?
in this year's.
I
I'm pretty
feel
sure
as if
that's
we've missed
right.
a year. Let us
No.
know, comment below.
Although time seems to just be slipping away from us, doesn't it?
Okay.
2 hours 35 including interval, so I'm glad we're in one of the most uncomfortable theatres in the West End.
Oh, it is. You get numb bum in this one.
The seats are not comfortable. It ain't no Royal Court. Those seats hug you. But there will be a 30-second interval breakdown.
So stick around to then to find out our thoughts.
And to the end to find out how many stars.
It's the interval, which means time for the break a leggers.
30-second interval breakdown.
Go, what do you think so far?
I would rather be anywhere else. It is an absolute pile of horse muck. In fact, I'd rather be clearing out a stable than to go back in. I want to stab myself in the eye, so I completely sympathise with those horses and wish I was one of them. I'm having a really bad time. It's unintelligible nonsense.
Okay, I'm actually enjoying it. I'm enjoying the production. Some really nice ideas, a very talented cast, really nice movement, really nice lighting. The story is very text heavy, and it's a long. Oh, fellow leggers, we've come to the end. It's an epic. As you can probably tell from the 30-second interval breakdown, Legger Simon wasn't having such a good time. Come the end, in its entirety. How did you find it?
It's one of the worst pieces I've ever seen in my entire existence. Complete unintelligible nonsense delivered by a cast which felt subpar and below amateur for me. There is clearly levels in the text, there's clearly layers and characters, but none of them came out as delivered by this cast or by a director that clearly got a passion for staging and production, but he should have staged this as a ballet and have none of the vocal text at all. I don't want to hear the words spoken by these actors in this production. I want to see it because times it was absolutely beautiful, but my God, I wish I'd have left halfway through, and it was, I'm in pain. How about you?
Wow, that's heavy. I had a completely different experience. I was hooked on quite a lot of it. Yes, the text is heavy. At certain
But it's
times, I was
unenjoyable,
trying
I
to
found it.
moments, and that comes very much from the psychologist character. The story is told through the eyes of this psychologist character who's trying to unpick and decipher what's happened, what has led to this young teenager blinding 6 horses.
But the only person...
Which I think, this is why I think the themes of this are really good. It's a real topical piece. Why do people do what they do? How much of it is personality and how much is it what has happened to them? We see what has led to people, what leads people to take on extremist views, what leads people to deny what actually happens in their life. And that really, I think as a theme, that's what Peter Shaffer has really looked to depict this true life story of this teenager who did these horses. On the face of it, we go, okay, what a horrible person, evil, going down. But actually, from a psychologist's point of view, unpicking what actually leads people to do what they do. I enjoyed that side of it.
That's the problem. If I could buy into that character and his passion for what he does, but everything he said was just so
well, you're talking about performances
statical.
here, and
yeah.
are we moving on to performances?
Well, not yet, because I'm not finished with what I'm saying. The
With
problem
the
in the
piece,
writing is, to me, and I can only judge the piece by the way it's been delivered by this cast. I don't have any other point of reference. He's the only person that cared about why he'd done what he'd done was the psychologist. His parents didn't care. He didn't particularly care, and I certainly didn't care. I just had no interest in finding out why. I couldn't care less. That was the problem.
So you had a bit of trouble kind of getting on board with the character and caring
and
about
trying to
what was
understand
going
why
on.
he would be. I understand it's his life's work and he's paid to be there, but why this one case? I was trying to make the link with why he took this one so seriously, and I just couldn't understand his drive.
Yes.
That was the thing. I couldn't understand his drive.
Yeah, I get that, and it's coupled with the idea that it's such a big case that it then challenges his perception of the world and where he fits on his psychologically journal.
You're digging now.
No.
Like,
This is all in there.
to dig.
This is what he says, but I'm backing up your point. But why this case? Why does this case suddenly open up this whole world? World, I don't know.
Still left asking the question.
I do get it, and again, this is what made me feel it's good. This idea of passion. We've got to have a passion. The psychologist admired the fact that this teenager had an ideology that he worshipped, that he wasn't just doing on a superficial level, that he was living it. And isn't that a life message? Go out and live your passion.
Even
and I
if
think
that's stabbing
what
horses in the eyes.
Well, then this is the paradox of what he was trying to say. Whatever not commenting on whether it was right or wrong, but there was something the psychologist admired in the fact that this young lad had the passion and he pursued it. And I was thinking, yes, there is a message there. Whatever your passion is in life, get out there and live it. Because he was saying he loved this kind of Greek mythology or kind of whatever it is, going places, but he was looking at it through the eyes of books, whereas the young man was living it. And I was like, yes, there's a key concept, a key message. So in terms of the play, I do think it's really dynamically written as well, because you're seeing it through the eyes of the psychologist.
Seriously, start all over again for me.
You're moving very swiftly between the scenes, and it's kind of imagining through these sessions that are also happening around them, and you've got characters and he's observing and it's moving quickly. I think you talked about not liking the directorship very much. I thought it was really creative as well. So I loved all of that.
Great, I couldn't disagree more.
Okay,
I just thought it was. You're talking about it being
perspectives.
dynamic and fast, but it was pedestrian. The way that the spoken scenes between two characters were staged was so unimaginative,
I thought it was creative.
It was just standing opposite one another. I was
there
bored
so much
to
going
death
on. There's so
in
much
those
going on
scenes.
in the lighting,
the only time
in
it
the
came,
soundscape.
it came alive to me was in those fast, dynamic, almost choreographed dance moments of
Beautiful
interaction
movement.
between the horses and the lead central character of Alan. But for me, what's the point in having all of that production if you're shutting the stable door once the horse has bolted? Because the horse bolted
There it is.
way before this piece made it to stage. In me, it bolted when the person put the pen to paper. When Shaffer wrote this, he wrote unintelligible nonsense. If this production's anything to go by, and the way that this was spoken, that I think you feel you have to. Do you know I've said it before? You feel that you have to say, "Oh, I understood that. I got that." You have to have a bravado about it. I think anyone that says they truly love this piece is lying. That's what I would say.
I'm not saying that I loved it, and I'm not saying I understood it. There were
People
times
do.
where I was like,
It's
okay.
considered to be a masterpiece.
Let's say
A
you
masterpiece.
had me for a while, but now I'm a bit confused as to where we were. Like I was on that thread of that epic monologue, but now I'm a bit like, nah, you've lost me.
Bored,
Sounds intelligent,
unintelligible.
but I'm not there.
Drivel, verbal diarrhea.
But then
and
it would
verbal
jump in.
diarrhea not delivered by a capable actor. Because
Okay, so we move on to cast members.
I mean,
then.
Richard Griffiths, I could see how he would do what he would do with this, the commandingness of Richard Griffiths in the 2007 production. To have literal, there would have been peaks and troughs in what he said, but
Absolutely.
Zubin Varla delivered this as one level throughout without a sense of passion, urgency, interest. There was just no light and shade to what he was saying. It was monotonous and it was completely and utterly painful to watch.
Yes. Now this piece is very heavy on that role of the psychiatrist. What is it? What's the
It
character
hangs
called?
off the back
Yeah.
of the psychiatrist, Martin Dysart.
He's the main. He is the main. He
He's the
doesn't
driving
leave the stage.
He
I don't
acts as
think.
narrator as much as he acts as a
And
psychiatrist.
as a result, it weighs heavily on his shoulders to drive the piece. I felt as if there was humour in the piece, but that wasn't being delivered.
Hadn't been
through him.
identified by either the director
No.
or the actor
Well-
or both. I'm sorry, but it's the director's responsibility to say, make that land, it's funny. The director hasn't got a clue with this text.
Because I think it is in there. I think it's the humour and the weight as well is all in there.
If it is,
didn't
it's
feel
been-
that with
he's
the
done a
performance.
misjustice to it if it's there.
However, outside of that, I thought, he was present. I felt comfortable. Zubin is a very accomplished performer. And I felt that he was, comfortable in what he was delivering, kind of a bit bumbling, some nice character moments with what he was doing with his fingers, the cigarettes coming, the uncertainty in his voice. There was stuff he was doing that I thought was nice, but he wasn't the A-class actor that this role needs.
Hated him, don't want to see him
I
again.
didn't hate him,
Hated him.
but in this role, I think it needs more.
Let's talk about Ethan Kai as Alan Strang now.
I liked him. I thought he was steady. I thought he's a good
Steady?
looking.
I mean, he's a good-looking guy. There's no denying that.
that
But
bias aside, I thought he was good. He was steady. I believed everything he was doing.
unconvincing for me.
Oh my goodness, what
Very
shall
few
we
credits
sing?
listed at his name, and he's absolute. What's the word I'm looking for? His inexperience shone through for me.
No, confident. I was with him from start to finish.
Couldn't care less. Right, let's move on to Robert Finch as Frank Strang. That's the father.
The dad.
And let's join him up with Doreen Blackstock as Dora, the mother. Now,
Yep.
for me, the mother gave one of the most wooden performances I've seen on a West End stage in a long, long time. Nothing she said landed. It felt like a paint by numbers. She didn't get passionate. She was going, imagine it from my son's point of view. It was so underplayed as to be painful.
I was with her on every single line. I was with him on every single line. Some really nice stuff they have to work with. I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, Frank Strang had a little bit more because there is a comic moment that takes place in a cinema, and I got the feeling he got the chance to break out of that strict.
That was the only time we got
characterisation.
humour.
Yeah, it was the only
I
time
felt,
we got
and the
humour.
performance
and it
we
was
saw-
welcomed by that point.
And I felt as if it should have been that throughout. Well, not throughout. There's certain moments where obviously it's not. But
Yeah.
I felt as if there were moments where there should have been more of that.
Now, for me, the only thing worth going back for in the second act was the performance
Of the,
by Nora Lopez Holden as Jill. She was the only person for me that gave any sense of genuineness.
I thought she was absolutely standout.
absolutely outstandingly
Yes,
good because
she was
she
so
embodied
good.
the character. She didn't play. She played the truth of it completely, and she was the only thing that was convincing about the whole production for me. And I'm glad I went back to Act 2 just for her. If she'd have given a performance to the level of the rest of them, I would have really resented seeing the second act.
I can't really say much more apart from that. I agree. She was absolutely brilliant. She was fantastic. I would also pick out the main horse nugget. Is it?
Yeah, that's Ira Mandela Siobhan.
I thought he was great. His isolation in his physicality, specifically in his upper body,
he's a dancer.
contemporary. It was
Yeah.
great. He had some spoken lines as well. I felt very comfortable in what he was doing.
Yep.
Just really beautiful, nice stuff. The physical movement that the whole company were doing. Who was the movement director?
So the movement director is Shelley Maxwell.
I thought she did a fantastic job in that whole physicality. Some of the getting up on the horses, riding about, the climactic moments at the end of the first act when riding through this field. A lovely company work. I thought it was fantastic.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
No,
then. Oh,
not
sorry.
yet. We need to talk about the sound design.
You want to talk about sound design?
I thought the sound design was really nice.
Giles
sound design
Thomas as composer and sound designer.
I really like the lighting. Some really beautiful lighting.
By Jessica Hunyang Han Yun.
Really nice snap LEDs coming through. Made me jump at one point. I thought a really nice combination of the two. I really liked. It sounds strange. I liked the set.
Okay.
There was no
set
apart from curtains.
So Georgia Lowe set and costume design.
But I thought it worked very well for this because it's a very blank canvas where we're going into the mindset of people and recreating stuff, and very simple items like a vacuum cleaner or the cast amongst the stage or just having a mug. So I guess it's also the directorialship I thought was good. Strike that, not good, no. Really good.
Yeah, but that's like I say, the director clearly understands production, but he doesn't understand how to get a performance from a group of actors.
I really like the production.
Yeah, the production is fine, but make this a dance piece, guys. If you've got a director that
but
can't...
But it's not.
No.
Peter made it a piece of text.
Yeah, he did, but
and that's what
don't
you're
put it into
with.
the hands of this director if this director can't handle the text.
No,
the director,
my he's only
Ned
working
Bennett,
what he
cannot handle the text. That's what I decided.
I thought he worked very well with the materials that he had.
Well, in that case, the masterpiece that Peter Shaffer has written, it's been we've been wrong all this time. Oh, at least I've been misled. That's how I feel. Anyway,
before we go on to reveal how many stars, if you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. If you want to hear more about ramblings, sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we do. I mean, it seems to be less and less so recently, but sometimes
so please
we
like
do.
and subscribe. However, I guess you're probably wondering how many stars we are going to give Equus, currently playing here at the Trafalgar Studios.
We are going to give 3
stars.
Begrudgingly, guys, because I think people might come and we're not meeting in the middle because I would have given it. I would have legged it at the interval, or I'd have given it a 1 to push. We're not meeting in the middle by any stretch of the imagination,
so why
because you wanted to give it a 3.
Oh, you should have fought your corner, like Simon. I want to give it more than a 3. I really enjoyed this.
I would tell people. I would not. I'm worried that people are going to come and see this off the back of a 3-star review, because that's all they're going to get in a tweet. Now, don't come and see this, is my advice. Wait for a different production, or in fact, read it, and if it seems like crap on paper, it's no better in this piece. It's hawk's muck, it's what it is.
Well, art is very subjective. This appealed to me coming from my background, the idea of drama therapy, the idea of psychology, social learning theory, all those things that I like.
So if you like
Les Miserables, if you like Wicked,
no,
I don't want to say, but there's a certain type of
We don't want to be pigeonholed.
There's a certain type of people who go to certain types of theatre that I wouldn't be saying you must go and see Equus, because I don't think it would suit everybody. But I enjoyed this, so I know that there are leggers out there who would enjoy this. So come and see it and judge for yourself. I thought this was a really nice piece of theatre. I was engaged in it. There's some moving moments that took my breath away. I was like, wow, this is a great piece of theatre. This is a great experience.
That's taking
stages.
Your advice.
Text heavy.
Taking my advice would be avoid at all cost. Put that on the poster.
And you can only know by coming to see it yourselves, because that's only what I think.
And it's just what I think. What do you think? Let us know down below. We've had recommendations for this, so we know some of you have loved it, but didn't work for me.
Anyway, we're the Break Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon.
Bye!